we talk about wanting to keep guys like Brandon Lau healthy. And look, if he's on a heater and has gone 3 for 4 up to this point, I'm with you. Leave him in if you can. But if he had gone 0 for 3, but he's been good the last couple games, I think there's something to be said for just because a standout player starts the game doesn't necessarily mean he has to end the game.
You are Locked On Rays, your daily Tampa Bay Rays podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Welcome into Locked On Rays, your daily podcast covering everything Tampa Bay Rays, from game analysis to player interviews. We've got you covered with all the latest news and insights. My name is Kevin Weiss.
I'm Ulises Sambrano,
bringing you expert analysis and passionate discussions about our beloved Rays.
Whether you're a diehard fan who vividly remembers Longo's Game 162 just like us,
or you remember the early Devil Ray days of Wade Boggs and Carl Crawford,
we're here to break down every play, every trade, and every milestone. In fact, this is our 7th season covering the Rays daily.
And the 2025 campaign is underway. So go ahead, grab your favorite Rays gear, settle in, and subscribe to our Locked On Rays YouTube channel and other podcast platforms. You can also find us on X and Instagram at Locked On Rays.
Today's episode is brought to you by Monarch Money. This episode is brought to you by Monarch Money. Take control of your finances with Monarch Money. Use code LOCKED on MLB at monarchmoney.com for 50% off your first year. Seems like the Rays got 50% of homers this season so far. Of what they're shooting.
Yeah, not good. That's got to improve. We have a couple mailbag questions that we'll dive into today. This first one comes from Jack Voorhees, a voice memo, which we always love and appreciate.
Hey, Locked On Rays, it's your old pal, Jack Voorhees. I'm calm because I want to say, why do we keep doing this crazy, if we have a left-handed pitcher, we've got to put a left-handed batter up. Every single time we make a substitution, it's an automatic out. Every single time. Make it make sense. Tell me that there's some sort of like actual analytics that back up like, if you look at it, there actually is a better chance of hitting the ball, blah, blah, blah. Something like that. Or send the bat phone, call up the commissioner, get Kevin on the phone and say, Kevin, stop doing that. Don't lift out a good hitter for a bad hitter arbitrarily because of the way the hand that they use predominantly. Okay, make it make sense, or get them to stop it. Thanks. Bye.
All right, Jack Voorhees, very animated by the Rays platoon usage and quote unquote putting in a lesser hitter for a guy just because the platoon doesn't match up.
Hey, Jack. Thank you for the voice memo. If you guys have heard that voice before, it's because he is the proud author of our Klosky on the Clock.
Correct.
Now, best theme song that we have. Okay, Jack, I get your frustration. I understand it. The numbers back it up.
Yes, and they have for a long time. The Rays have been doing this. They kind of, I don't want to say invented it, but revolutionized it and fine-tuned it to the point where it has worked very, very well over the years. Plus, it's cost-effective to have a part-time lefty hitter and a part-time righty hitter instead of just one really, really good hitter. So that plays into it as well. But I can see where it's frustrating if you have a lefty on the mound. Brandon Lau just had a home run and a double his previous couple appearances, and then you sub him out for Curtis Mead. I get where Jack Voorhees is coming from.
I get the frustration 1,000%, and the numbers are there that it actually does work better than not 100%. Yeah. I will give a caveat though, and my caveat might seem boomerish to some, but I just believe in that thing, man. If a guy has a confidence, like if you're 2 for 2. Couple bombs, and there's a lefty, bro. You've earned it. Just like the whole baseball adage of you hit the walk-off hit, you got the walk-off home run. the day before, you're on the starting lineup the next day. Like, we know that for thing. And guess what? Kevin Cash believes in that too, because who got to start game 2? Cam Meisner. Okay.
Right. So a little bit more managing with the gut and not the spreadsheet should be incorporated and utilized.
There's a little bit of just like baseball taste buds.
Just like Blake Snell being pulled in the
World Series. I didn't want to say anything, but hey, just we're not even going to talk about it, but it was just said, and we just drop it in there. You guys deal with that as you want. I just want to put just some numbers for Jack and for anybody that thinks like Jack. Last year, I just picked one player. Last year, Curtis Mead hit against righties 167 with a 403 OPS. Those are Taylor Walls type numbers, right?
Mm-hmm.
Against lefties, the same human being, okay, from Australia, friend of the pod, hit 364 with an 849 OPS.
Right.
Better than double. Okay. That's why. That's just one case. And will there be cases where they're actually reverse splits, where they actually hit better against people that have their same handedness? Sure. But they're not the majority. Mm-hmm. And so you have the Rays, as analytical as they are, they go with the majority. What's most likely to happen? A righty is going to get a hit against a lefty rather than a lefty against a lefty.
Yeah. And I think that, I mean, this is maybe like 1% of the equation, but we talk about wanting to keep guys like Brandon Lau healthy. And look, if he's on a heater and has gone 3 for 4 up to this point, I'm with you. Leave him in if you can. But if he had gone 0 for 3, but he's been good the last couple games, I think there's something to be said for just because a standout player starts the game doesn't necessarily mean he has to end the game, especially with it being a long season and some of the workload management considerations. And I mean, we keep talking about it. Hey, how is Curtis Mead going to get better if he doesn't get opportunity? So you also have to kind of weasel in some at-bats here and there for him or Jake Mangum or Cameron Meisner, whoever it is. So it's a battle for sure. But look, the history overall, I think with platoons has worked in the Rays' favor, and they fine-tuned it to a science.
And one more thing before we take the next one. He also mentioned, and it almost always never works, right? Or whatever the phrasing was.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're right, Jack, because first, hitting is really hard, and pinch hitting is even harder. So you've got two things against you just by what the instance is, just by the definition of the situation. You're already at a disadvantage. You're hitting, disadvantage, and also you're pinch hitting. It's very difficult. I mean, I think very famous pinch hitters, Matt Stairs?
Yeah, guys like Matt Stairs do not grow on trees. That is for sure.
Harold Ramirez was also very good with the Rays. Ji-Man Choi was very good pinch hitting, just to give a couple Rays names on that instance. But yeah, pinch hitting is really, really difficult. So even though what the Rays are trying to do, again, to come back on why they do it, is saying, well, if we put them in a situation to succeed, again, facing somebody that they're probably going to get hit more likely than not,
right,
then maybe we're aiding ourselves in this situation, which already is at a disadvantage for the hitter.
And again, I mean, I don't know the exact cases per se. Like, if the Rays are down, say by 3 runs, and Brandon Lau is up to bat in the later portions of the game with nobody on base, that point it's like, all right, sub him out. Let's give him a couple. Let's let him sit on the bench for a couple innings and recoup for the next day. Bring in one of the next man on the bench to get his opportunity or his action. So I think there's a little bit of that to work out too.
I would love to know if that's a thing, just like the Rays don't chase wins. If they're down by 2, they put the B bullpen. Well, in that case, there must be that equation hitting wise. They must have that equation of, well, if we're down by 2, 3, 4, whatever it is, and maybe it's less than that because the Rays offense is not categorically a powerhouse. Maybe they have that equation of like, hey, 7th inning, we're subbing him out. It's better to take him out, give him 3 innings worth of rest, than the alternative.
And I will tell you that if you want to keep Brandon Lau in longer and keep his energy up, there's probably one easy way to do that, and that is with wonderful pistachios. If you're looking for a snack that's both delicious and nutritious, go ahead, crack into a good source of protein with Wonderful Pistachios. Wonderful Pistachios, it is one of the highest protein nuts. Each 1 ounce serving has 6 grams of protein, giving you over 10% of your daily value. Plus, they're packed with fiber and better for you unsaturated fats to help keep you feeling fuller longer. So go ahead, don't waste any more time here. Get snacking and get cracking with the snack that packs a protein punch. Visit wonderfulpistachios.com to learn more. Wonderful Pistachios, everybody. Enjoy.
Oh, yeah.
All right. Next question or comment here comes from Douglas Batista. Douglas says, went to opening day and again on Saturday. Loved being outside for the games. Not sure how I'll feel about that in August. My only concern, even though it's early, is Pete Fairbanks. He puts a lot of guys on base, similar to last year.
So he was there Saturday with us.
I guess he was. Yeah. He should have said hello. Maybe we saw him and we just didn't know it. Or maybe he saw us and he didn't know it.
There you go.
Incognito, wearing sunglasses and hoodies and so forth. So
I guess we were. I think, we mentioned this. I'll take the first half. Like, it's just a different feeling seeing the Rays play outside, and it means something. You can obviously do it in Port Charlotte, but I'm not my level of Bucks fandom. I want them to win every year, but I have no actual emotional attachment to it. But right. I hope they win every bleeping year. Seeing the stadium whilst watching Kim Meisner in front of us and Littell pitch, and I see the Bucks stadium right behind us, that was bleeping cool, man. That was like, it just gives you like a sense of pertinence. Yeah. You belong.
In the moment.
This is you.
Yes.
Fantastic. Yeah, I loved it.
And I will say, again, that's part of the reason why the Rays have so many home games up front with the 2025 schedule, is to avoid the games in August outdoors. Having said that, there will be a couple of series outdoors. And I wonder if this was by design, because the teams that are coming to Steinbrenner Field in August, for the most part, are worth watching. August 1st through 3rd is the Dodgers. You'll probably want to be there for that. Yep. August 19th and 20th versus the Yankees. You'll probably want to be there for that. Then August 22nd through the 24th is against the Cardinals. I don't know how good the Cardinals are going to be, but I know that that is a big, it is a very supportive fan base in town. And I think not that they travel well, but there are a lot of Cardinals fans living in the Tampa, St. Pete area, because I believe the spring training home of the Cardinals used to be in St. Pete. But there's definitely a couple series where I will battle through the rain, the hurricane, the extreme heat, the humidity, whatever it is, to have an opportunity to watch Shohei Ohtani and Mookie Betts and Aaron Judge and Juan Soto, assuming all those guys are healthy. So I'm just wondering if that was, part of the equation was, hey, we really need to try our best, the Rays and the commissioner's office to make these games appealing later on in the season. And here we are. And then, of course, in between all that, the Rays have majority road games with a huge West Coast trip where they face the Angels, the Mariners, the Athletics, wherever they're playing, in the Giants, and then they go back to the Midwest and the East Coast for the end of the month. So there are what 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 handful of games that you can go to in August if you so choose. So
yeah, that's a crazy schedule.
And there's 7. I mean, there's a lot of night games as well. So 7:35 p.m. start a little bit later to hopefully
a little bit cooler.
The rough conditions. Yes.
Yeah.
So.
That's a crazy schedule in August, man. It's gonna be rough for them. So that's why, again, we are always saying, basically now as a motto of this podcast, they cannot get behind the 8 ball. They have to start really strong. On the second part of his questions, though, he mentioned Pete Fairbanks, that it made him nervous about the walks, correct?
Yes, that was the gist of it.
So, Douglas, yeah, I mean, Pete has always been a guy that walks a fair amount of people. If you look at his walk percentage, it always kind of hovers around 10%. The lowest was 3.4% in 2022. But that was a very short season for him. He only pitched 24 innings. Regardless.
Is it just me, by the way? Is it just me that the classic Fairbanks appearance is like he gets 2 quick strikeouts and then walks 2 guys, then maybe gives up a single, and then he usually oftentimes gets out of it?
Yeah, it's not for the faint of heart. This year he's got 3 innings pitched, 2 hits allowed, 2 walks. So yeah, he's going to be making it a little bit difficult for you as a fan to just put up your feet without having a little bit of an issue breathing in the 9th inning or whenever he's pitching. So it's going to be tough, but ultimately, most likely than not, like you're saying, he gets out of it. So ultimately, does it, this might be a little bit too much of a philosophical question, but, is it better in the end that the result is obtained than the way that it is?
Yeah, no, I think that's fair. I guess at some point the Rays will have to weigh and question if he is worth what he's making when you have so many other top-notch relievers on the roster. And what I'm getting to, I know this individual gave up a home run, a line drive home run, which I don't know how it had the loft to get over the fence, to Wyatt Langford over the weekend. But I am marking it down. Future closer is Mason Montgomery, because his stuff is very rare and elite. I know we do not see a lot of left-handed closers, but you also don't see a lot of left-handed closers that touch 101 and 102 on a regular basis. Yes.
No, but with smooth ease. It's incredible.
With ease, with drop, with rise, with extension. In fact, if you have time to look at this, MLB.com, I believe David Adler, one of their analytics gurus, compared Montgomery's four-seamer this year to Aroldis Chapman's four-seamer from 2015 to 2017. And I'll just run through the numbers here. So Montgomery, his four-seamer this year, averaging 99.8 miles per hour, 8 inches of total drop, 6 inches of run, plus 19 inches of rise, 6.7 feet of extension. Chapman from 2015 to 17, 100.4 mile per hour average, 9 inches total drop, 7 inches run, 18 inches rise, 6.8 feet extension. So very similar numbers across the board between those two flamethrowers. Although I don't think Montgomery is purposely throwing at guys' heads yet anyway.
Exactly. Yeah. Minus the personal stuff. No, look, I don't doubt that he's got the stuff to be that guy. Josh Hader, like you don't just see it often. You don't see it often from the left side. I know we have seen it from Jake McGee, but
correct.
I thought Gary Clevenger was going to be that guy. He didn't become that guy, and that's okay, at least not yet. But yeah, Mason Montgomery just has stuff that is video game like, bro. Yes, so just to close out on the earlier conversation, though, Pete Fairbanks, then do we agree that maybe in his case the end justifies the means here?
No, I think it's just headache inducing, and I don't know if you can get away with it as much in the playoffs because those teams are so good that they'll likely capitalize on it. So that's something to monitor. We know about his well publicized issues with pitching in cold weather. So there are demerits in that respect. But, on the whole, I don't have a lot of issues with Pete Fairbanks. I mean, there's a reason why the Rays gave him extension and locked him up for millions of dollars, especially with a team that rotates relievers left and right and understands the volatility and will use like 12 different guys during a single year to get a save. So clearly they see something redeeming with Pete Fairbanks, and it's still early, but I would imagine, the walks will be a tick higher than we want. But he still gets the W's or the saves, so to speak, for the most part. So, all right, we have one more question, but first, I think, Ulises, we have to tell the audience something important.
Ever check your bank account and wonder, where did all my money go? Between dining out, online shopping, entertainment, it's easy to lose track. And that's where Monarch Money comes in, your personal CFO, giving you full visibility and control over your finances. It takes less than 5 minutes to get started, and it's a complete look at your financial well-being. It manages your money. You can start building wealth. It's fantastic. It gives you everything. It's not just a budgeting app. And today, you can get started and take control of your finances with Monarch Money using code LOCKEDONMLB at monarchmoney.com for 50% off your first year. That's right. Using code LOCKEDONMLB gets you 50% off your first year at monarchmoney.com. Again, monarchmoney.com, code LOCKEDONMLB for half off your first year.
All right. Final question or comment from the audience that we will get to from C. Kurtzman, aka 702, living but always with the 813, I believe. He says, new contest. Name the Rays catcher who will get a hit first this season. Well, that has already been answered because Danny Jansen is the gentleman that has a hit, the lone hit. Yes. Standing ovation for a Rays catcher 9 games in getting a hit. So it's pretty much like the Rays history with catchers offensively between Rortvedt and Jansen this season.
For those of you that don't know, Danny Jansen has had 23 plate appearances, that lone hit. And meanwhile, Ben Rortvedt has had 10 plate appearances and no hits. That's, if you're keeping track at home, 10 plus 23, 33. 1 hit, 1 for 33 from the catching position. Not so hot. Again, 9 games. Again, 30-something plate appearances.
Right.
Small, very minuscule sample size. But let's see it change. Because this has been very automatic for the Rays in 2025. Like, what's going to happen, and it's not going to be a good thing.
Yeah. I will say I'm still confident that the Rays platoon between Danny Jansen and Ben Rortvedt will ultimately have better numbers combined and on the whole than what the Rays put forth last season. God, I hope that happens because the Rays invested at least $8 million to Danny Jansen. I can't remember his exact contract details, but they definitely didn't pay him to bat 050 this year. So
also, hard hit percentage between the two of them,
not
14.3%.
Yeah, something's got to change. I guess that Danny Jansen, also based on the analytics, he's not swinging and missing that much. He's not chasing that much, but he's got to square more. And it goes back to the earlier topic from Tuesday's episode, was the power. Like Danny Jansen is also known as a power hitting catcher, and that's something that has to be utilized at some point as well. I know what the reasoning is behind the struggles. I mean, the only thing that I can think of is, hey, Ben Rortvedt and Danny Jansen are used to more cooler climates, perhaps. And
I was gonna go different. I was gonna go a different route. I was like, maybe they both prefer more PAs than they're currently getting.
Well,
like,
yeah, that could be it too. Yeah, more reps. But
still, it's rough. 0 for 10 and 1 for 23. So 2 guys in the same position struggling.
Yeah, and I know their main job is to manage the pitching staff and to throw guys out and to block pitches. That is a big part of the. Yeah. Well, we're not gonna go down that road, but the defensive end of things and the pitching whisper end of things is very important from a Rays point of view, but not enough to offset a batting average and a slugging percentage and an on-base percentage that they're currently utilizing. But yeah, maybe that's just them trying to get used to the heat at Steinbrenner Field. I don't know. I'm lost for words with this one.
I think that's why you can't see yourself with a couple errors. That's why those things, kind of like what Taylor Wallace is facing. The thing with Taylor Wallace, though, it's been like 5 years, but
yeah,
that's why it's frustrating when he commits an error. You're like, what? He can't be perfect on the field. It's like, no, he's gonna make errors. But because the other side of the ball is lacking so much, those hurt more as a fan. Right now, Danny Jansen and Ben Rortvedt have to be perfect behind the plate. They just have to be.
No mistakes.
Because there's throws, errors, there's pass balls and all that. Now you're starting to think, whoa, what's going on? Like, I mean, we're expecting something, fan base type of comment. So, no, hopefully it turns around soon. And again, you've got the series against the Angels, the Braves, the Red Sox, and the Yankees. You're going to be home. You're going to have a routine. Let's get some power back. And I think seeing a couple dingers from Jansen this week should be nice. And peek behind the curtain, we're recording this before Tuesday's game. So maybe, hey, guess what? Maybe Jansen went deep, Kev. We don't know. Maybe Caminero went deep as well. Yandy's first. I don't know.
Well, it's pretty bad when they are not adding up to what Alex Jackson provided last season. Like Alex Jackson looks like a Hall of Famer based on Rortvedt and Jansen's numbers thus far, which is saying something. So we'll leave it at that. All right. Thank you all for the questions and comments. We appreciate it. Keep them coming. We absolutely love the voice memos. So lockedonrays@gmail.com is the place to send those. In the meantime, hope you all have a wonderful day. Stay safe, and we will talk to you later.